We'll move on to Bengals talk now, but it's just like I'd heard enough about how the Bengals have ruined the entire city and everything else. So I figure let's change it up, start this on a positive note with some basketball preview talk. So thank you for that. Let's get into our Bengals segment. Skinny, was this the most indefensible loss you've covered?
It's right up there. I mean, you really have no excuses whatsoever. You were playing a guy quarterback that they didn't really want to play, but had to because the other guy got hurt, Tyrod Taylor. They were down their two best wide receivers. You had a guy that was on your practice squad and a little bit on your active roster who caught a couple of passes and ran a reverse for 25 yards. They don't tackle. They don't rush the passer. You can argue they don't cover well, but I'll be honest with you, Justin Fields had so much time to throw. I'm not sure I can pin a lot of blame on the secondary in this game. I mean, he was never Rick, this is almost unfathomable to me. In the last two games, the Bengals have a total of 3 quarterback hits. 2 of them are the following. The only one in this past game was Cam Taylor-Britt came on a blitz and hit the quarterback. The game before, the 2 quarterback hits, remember when Aaron Rodgers ran around for almost 9 seconds and threw a touchdown pass? I think it was actually timed at 8.6 seconds officially, something like that.
Remember it well.
Demetrius Knight hit him on that play. That was one of their other quarterback hits. When they rush the passer, it looks like Velcro, like they get glued on and they can't get off. It's embarrassing to watch.
You could quite literally find any 4 homeless dudes in Cincinnati that are overweight right now, and they look exactly the same on the defensive line. They stand up, get pushed backwards, and then just stick to whoever's blocking them. They don't move at all.
In the last 2 games combined, in 62 defensive snaps, Shamar Stewart has 1 assisted tackle. That's 1 more than you and me and the listeners. In 62 defensive snaps, Mr. Physical Freak overproduction. Well, he sure is looking like that's exactly all he's going to be.
I mean, that was the most predictable thing of all time, too. We said that going back to when they took him, that was going to be an issue. Skinny, a lot has been made about the drafting situation. I know you wrote something about that for Local 12. I think it's up right now, right?
Yeah. I'm going to go probably during the bye week next week and look at the drafts from 2021 and pan them for that. Because here's the thing I think that people have to recognize. It's fine to pay your stars. I'm not sure I would have paid T. Higgins, but I'm not going to relitigate that. It's fine to pay your stars. But if you're going to pay your stars, and you can only pay a handful of them, like you're paying Orlando Brown a good chunk of change to be your left tackle, that's fine. Obviously, Burrow and Chase and Higgins. And you're paying Trey Hendrickson a good piece of money this year at $30 million per. But if you're going to pay your stars, you must, an absolute must, have guys on rookie contracts performing at a high level for you if you're going to succeed. That's a must. You have to have the cheap labor work out for you, and they just have missed in so many ways.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been pointing out the reaches that they make. You know, the Shamar Stewart type guys, the project type of guys that they'll draft.
Miles Murphy was a reach. He's just an athletic dude. It almost seems like they want to be the smartest people in the room of, we found this guy. Look at the athleticism on him. And they whiff every time.
But Skinny, that's been a narrative about this ownership group, front office, whatever, going back to when I was a child in the 90s. Like going back to why'd you have to get David Klingler instead of whoever else you thought you should take? Or, it was always like, you think you're smarter than everyone else. You're taking the guy who, he could be seen as that type of prospect, but most other teams would just take this guy who's the safe pick, who put up all the numbers and did all the things already. How are they still making those same mistakes? Is it really just that they don't have that scouting department, or is it because of that they think they should make reaches and be like, we're going to be a little more bold with our decisions?
It's because there's no one that is held accountable for this. That's the problem with it. No one's held accountable.
Duke Tobin's under fire with the fan base right now. I mean, he's always under fire, but it's never been louder than this. How realistic is it that the Bengals are having those same conversations, that he's under pressure right now?
I don't think we know this organization. I mean, if they do, it would be, I feel it. If they would do something, I would be shocked. I'll tell you that much.
In that case, I mean, what's the most likely scenario? Say things flail this season and it goes nowhere.
I guarantee you they're still under the impression that Joe Burrow will save the day whenever he comes back.
But, I mean, you think they could legitimately miss the playoffs this year and Duke Tobin and Zach Taylor would both be fine? Is that a possibility?
Depends on how off the rails this goes. I mean, how do you not look at that roster, especially on defense, and go, man, you've had a lot of chances and you've whiffed all the way across the board just about?
Whether it's whiffing on every prospect or a combination of whiffing on prospects and not developing guys at all,
Yeah, right.
Someone has to be held accountable for this because it's a systematic failure across, decades probably. But if you want to talk about this group, at least the last 3 years, it's been a complete disaster.
Jackson Carman says hi, by the way. He worked out great.
That's just another example of it, Skinny. I don't understand how they continue to make that same mistake in the draft, because that exact thing has been said for so long about this front office, that they try to be the smartest organization in the NFL.
So honestly, I'm not here to tell you I know more football than those people, because I don't. But I can be honest with you. I could have taken Dane Brugler's Beast draft guide and done better. And so let me redo the 3-round draft for a second, okay?
For this year.
Yeah, and these were guys, when I'm talking about these picks, these weren't guys that hey, I found a guy who's playing great, who was drafted behind him. No, these were guys that were talked about among most of the people that cover the team in the fan base of, man, if that guy's there in that round, you hard to pass on it. So round one, they obviously wanted a linebacker, right? Because they took one in the second round, took one in the fourth round. They took good old Shamar Stewart instead. Shamar Stewart's grade on PFF is 53.5. He ranks 102 of 118 edge rushers in the NFL. Again, I don't think PFF's the be-all, end-all, but it is a good measuring stick in my opinion. Linebacker Jihad Campbell was sitting right there, and everybody loved Jihad Campbell. He had some medicals maybe, but he was thought of highly. Well, who takes him? The people who seem to know how to draft really damn well, the Philadelphia Eagles. He started all 8 games for them this year. He grades in at 83.1, ranked 6th of 80 NFL linebackers this season. How would that have worked out for you?
Sickening right now, honestly, to hear that.
So you got your linebacker in round 1. You wouldn't have to draft Demetrius Knight in round 2. And I think Demetrius is going to be a nice player one day, a solid player. He's struggling at the moment. His PFF grade of 42.4 currently ranks him 77th out of 80 linebackers in the NFL. He has 11 missed tackles, which is among the most of anybody in the NFL. Again, Jihad Campbell would have filled this role. In this spot, you obviously wanted to take a guard because you took one in the 3rd round. Tate Ratledge was sitting right there. Everybody was screaming, can't pass on Tate Ratledge. They did. All Tate Ratledge has done is started all the games for the Detroit Lions. In fact, played every offensive snap. He ranks 21st out of 81 guards in the NFL this year, PFF. Pretty good start for a rookie.
That would probably put him among the Bengals' 1 or 2 best offensive linemen?
Right, their best.
Yes.
So instead, you took Dylan Fairchild in the 3rd round because you needed a guard. And he seems like he's going to be a solid player. Rookie offensive lineman. I think there is a learning curve, although Tate Ratledge is doing pretty well for a rookie. Fairchild started the first 5 games, missed 2 in a row. He got back in the starting lineup this last game. His PFF grade ranks him 69th of 81 guards in the NFL. Instead, the Bengals should have taken, because they need safety depth and help. How about Xavier Watts? Oh, Al Golden knew him pretty well, didn't he? Played for him at Notre Dame. He ranks 30th of 80 NFL safeties this year. He's only missed 4 tackles. The 2 Jamokes who start for the Bengals, Jordan Battle and Geno Stone. Battle ranks 45th among NFL safeties. Stone ranks 61st. Battle has 11 missed tackles. Geno Stone has 9 missed tackles, and they don't have a backup. People have been going, why don't you play one of those other guys? All Tyson Anderson and P.J. Jules, the 2 backup safeties, they're only special teams players. They cannot play. They do not trust them to play safety. So you needed depth. What are you doing?
That was the case all offseason. You have to find some help at safety. It never happened. It never happened. And that was one of the most mind-blowing parts of the offseason.
No, and that's why they ran it back with these 2 dudes. And
after asking for a pay cut from Geno Stone, it's but we've got all the confidence. You're our guy.
Yeah.
But take a pay cut also.
Yeah, exactly.
Just mind-blowing.
What are you doing, guys?
We called this out in the offseason, preseason, a little bit. Looking back now that things have played out the way they have, it's even more like, how the hell did they get away with this? How the hell did they think this was going to work in terms of the defense?
I don't know. I know what they thought. They thought it was Al Golden's fault.
Lou Anarumo's
fault. Yeah. Sorry, Lou Anarumo's fault. That's what they clearly thought.
That's embarrassingly bad by them, because everyone knew that it's like, hey, you got to get rid of Lou Anarumo. That's fine. I agree with that decision at this point. You got to do something. But that's not the main issue. It's the personnel that he's been working with. That was clearly the case, and yet nothing was done about that part of it. Skinny, a huge players-only meeting this past week. Did that get them back on track, you think? Are they back?
No, they're not back. I mean, good. Listen, I guess the only thing that players-only meeting, it was actually a defense-only meeting. Defensive players met. My guess would be that would be just, hey, let's roll in this together. Let's figure out a way to dig out from under this. Those things to me, I shake my head at them every time.
I heard that the defensive linemen weren't able to actually make it into the meeting. There were some barriers outside the door they weren't able to get past. It was
they got stuck. Yeah, they got stuck.
There's little like what do you call the things that keep you from driving into a store? You know, those little concrete barriers.
Yes.
A couple of those were standing outside the doors. They were stuck.
I mean, that defensive line is a joke.
After watching them in person in the Pittsburgh game, Thursday night game, where you're looking, I was high up, so I'm looking from above, and you're just seeing every possession. It's like the ball snapped, they get pushed 2 yards back, and they just kind of stick there in the same spot for the next 4 to 5 to 10 seconds as Aaron Rodgers does whatever he wants. It's like, I can't believe this is a real NFL team. I've never seen anything like that. There's not another, if you watch the NFL, there's not another defensive line that is that bad right now. I promise you. I watched Sunday.
But you know that they got a bunch of undrafted free agents. Oh no, wait a minute. They've got a couple of first-round picks, a guy they spent free agency money on this year. I wonder why that is. Maybe
I hate players only. I hate players only meetings so much.
I do too.
I hate it. Where are we at on Joe Flacco's status?
I can't imagine he plays. We're taping this on a Thursday morning. If he gets to practicing today, at least on a limited basis, I'd feel a little better. I know that Zach Taylor said in his press conference on Wednesday that even if Flacco doesn't take any practice reps this week, that if he feels healthy on Sunday, he could possibly start him. But I would think if you can't take practice reps, that means your arm isn't feeling right. It's suddenly going to feel right on a Sunday and go play. I think it's a big ask. I mean, I'm not telling you it's impossible, but I think it's a giant ask.
What about Trey Hendrickson?
I mean, the hip's gone out on him now twice in the last 3 games, late in the first half of both. I think he probably played compromised this past game, but tried to give it a go, and then ended up look like kind of a cheap shot that re-injured him. But it's the hip, and that's 2. Like I said, 2 of the last 3 games. You got the bye week coming up.
He's making business decisions anyway.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't blame him. I mean, he's tried to give it a go, and he's gone out twice. So. I think, again, that would be a big ask if he plays.
Yeah, I think so, too. A lot of fans viewed this past week as the end of the Bengals season. Looking at the AFC North standings,
it's not.
Is that an overreaction?
Yes, it is. Listen, I know it's the winless Jets, and they suck, and you have no reason to lose to them and blow a 15-point lead and have any reason for hope. I get that. But it's the NFL. It's a week-to-week league, right? And it's still an if they beat Chicago and Pittsburgh loses this game to Indy at home, they're actually an underdog. Pittsburgh the following week, while the Bengals are on a bye, and they'd be sitting at a bye 4-5 if they beat the Bears. If Pittsburgh loses this week to Indy, which is a possibility, right? They're an underdog, even though they're at home. Then they have to go to the Chargers and play on a Sunday night. Both the Bengals and Steelers could be 4-5 when they meet up in Pittsburgh on November 16th. Now, Baltimore at that point could also be 4-5 too and gotten themselves back into the mix.
Right. I mean, I don't put it this way. I'm not confident in any way, shape, or form that the Bengals are going to win the AFC North this year. And it certainly looks like it's going to be tough to get that wild card spot the way things are going. But I mean, the Steelers aren't very good, Skinny. No, if that's the best team in the AFC North, I don't think it's necessarily over yet.
It's not a reach, in my opinion, to suggest the 2 teams could be 4-5 when they meet up on November 16th.
I think that's fair. I think the thing about this past game was it triggered that feeling that everyone was worried about. There was a sentiment building this year that we're back to the 90s. We're still the Bengals. In fact, it's never changed. Joe Burrow just fluked his way through 2 playoff runs. And actually, this organization is as bad as it's ever been. And I think when everyone saw this loss, the way the defense collapsed in the fourth quarter, it just triggered those feelings all the way back. Like everyone is just, we're back to being the Bengals. The Reds still stink. They can't get it right. We're just in Cincinnati sports futility forever now. And I get that. I get why people feel that way because I felt that way too.
And you go back to the Joe Burrow Super Bowl run in the year after. Let's not forget that he was on a rookie contract. T was on a rookie contract. Jamar Chase was on a rookie contract. And what did that allow bonehead Duke Tobin to do? And I'll at least give him a little bit of the credit for this. He had oodles of cash to throw at people. And yeah, hey, listen, Trey Hendrickson, got to give you credit for the signing. I mean, he had 1 good year under his belt. Who knew he was going to become this player? So kudos to you. Chidobe Awuzie was a good signing. I mean, at the time, Alex Kappa was a good signing. Ted Karras was a good signing. Orlando Brown was a good signing. You had oodles of cash to throw it. Now it's when you have to hit on your draft picks, and you haven't, and that's why the roster is such a damn mess.
That's it. Any other thoughts on the Bengals?
No, I do feel for the fan base. I really do, because you felt like you had a legit Super Bowl window with Joe Burrow, and now you don't know how often he's going to be healthy or not healthy, and the defense is going to require at least 2 seasons worth of overhauls to renovate that group. It's a bad group, man.
It is. I mean, you're just sitting there looking like Joe Burrow can play as well as he did last season, and the Bengals can still miss the playoffs.
Yep.
At that point, what's to stop that from happening every season the rest of his career that he's here? You know, I mean, like there's no guarantee that the Bengals will ever get this right again, especially dealing with his big contract and Chase's big contract and the financial constraints that you just laid out. They've never proven to be able to put together a roster around those types of contracts or that type of talent. So I mean, it's really concerning.
Let's assume, for argument's sake, they let Trey walk to free agency. I think that's probably a safe argument to make. You don't have a single defensive lineman worth a damn. I'm counting on the 2 rookie linebackers to eventually develop. They're struggling at the moment because they kind of got thrown in the fire and said, "You two guys go at it. You're the best we got. You're just going to have to play through the mistakes." I'm assuming they'll be starter quality players as the years go on, but it may not happen. Cam Taylor-Britt's been a disaster at corner this year and probably is going to be gone. I mean, you need at least 1, if not 2 corners. You need a complete rehaul of the safety. I mean, you need a lot, and you can't do it financially for the most part because you're stuck with 3 huge contracts.
Right. And then it's like, okay, draft those guys. Well, guess what? Bringing in rookies next year and starting them right away is going to be similar to what it looks like at the linebacker spot this year. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to probably rank low. I mean, yes, you see some of these other guys that get drafted. You talked about the linebacker that the Eagles brought in this year that the Bengals should have drafted, right? But that's also going into a functional defense with veterans around them that know what they're doing. It's much easier to play well as a young guy when you're just the one guy who has to figure it out versus an entire group of players who can't tackle and don't know what they're doing around you.
No, that's a good point.